Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Insightful Wealth. I am excited today because I have not only an amazing entrepreneur, but she's also one of my best besties in all of this entrepreneurship process. And before I reveal her identity, let me talk to you a little bit more about this amazing woman. She is a trailblazer in a male-dominated industries. In 2023, she was awarded a grand champion of an International Enterprising Woman magazine, and she is the CEO of Pinnacle Communications Group, named one of Grow Florida's 2023 top 50 companies to watch. She has been recognized with awards like Woman of the Year in Technology in 2021 and the Ultimate CEO of the Year in 2023. She empowers women as the Northeast Florida ambassador as and a diversity advocate. I'm telling you, I can keep going on and on and on with so many different accolades this person has. And please help me welcome Sonya Marchisillo Morales. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to jump in today and see what we get into.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And well, we've like had many opportunities to do many things together. And I know that you and I share this passion to help women as
Mhm,
entrepreneurs because entrepreneurship is not only just like getting a business, it's so much more. It goes intertwined with an identity as a woman.
mhm.
So I know you have an amazing story, and I would love for you to share that with our listeners because Pinnacle Communications had a particular beginning and a birth that not many other companies have. So why don't you tell us a little bit more on how that came to be?
Sure. Sure. Thank you for having me. And I think one of the most important things is our company was born out of necessity. We were born inside the pandemic. I am a pandemicpreneur. One of the things that I noticed when COVID was happening was 18 to 22-year-olds kind of got lost in the shuffle. Some of them were seniors. I had a senior, I had a freshman in college, and both of my girls, the world just kind of turned off. They weren't able to hang out with friends. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't travel. There was a lot of restriction, but in that age demographic, they hadn't seen or endured any type of adversity to understand really what was going on in the world. And so I was going to work every day. My husband's an options analyst, so he works from home. He didn't have an opportunity or an outlet for them. I didn't either. I was, in fact, laying off parents at my dealership because we were inside COVID, trying to keep jobs, trying to maintain, and trying to work inside this global pandemic. And at the same time, as a mom, I had to really understand what my girls were going through, how their world had changed, and now they're just kind of at home. So I had told my husband, I said, we've got to do something with the girls. There just isn't an outlet. And he just very simply looked at me and said, babe, if there's not an outlet, you have to create one. And that's really what got the wheels turning. That's what made me stop and think there is maybe more to that. There's something there. And I built dealerships for a living. So my ability to put teams together, build revenue, look at margins, all the things that I've done throughout my career, I thought I could just apply this to my girls and we could figure it out. So, one of the funny things about the way that this happened was I treated them and the entire situation like a SWOT analysis. So we went to the sofa, we were eating pizza and Funyuns, and it's actually kind of funny. I got Funyuns right here with me. I love my Funyuns, but pizza and Funyuns, and we sat down and we really looked at what our strengths are, what are our weaknesses, what do we need to do that's going to create something that's going to give them an outlet environment, also create revenue and give them work, give them something to work towards, something to attain. But I needed something that was going to really kind of thrive or strive inside of a pandemic, but also thrive and strive outside of a pandemic. I didn't want something temporary. I didn't want something that was going to fall apart after COVID. I wanted something that would endure. And that's where Pinnacle was born. We really started to drill down. We did a deep dive. We found out that 5% of women work in technology, 2.5% are minority women. 0.5 are an actual founder or hold a C-suite position. And I had really sat down with the girls and I said, this is our niche. We're going to figure out how we can jump into the technology space and we can excel in the technology space. Now, understanding my background, I can't turn the TV on in my house. I do not have a techie bone in my in my body, but what I do know is my ability to read, learn, grit, tenacity, all the things that I've encompassed as my skill sets throughout my life, being able to take those and project those into something that I think is really instrumental and important. And I've really watched the girls kind of excel. We had to be we were self taught, and then once we really got an understanding and a grasp of what the true industry was, we built a silo. Then we started hiring the experts. We started bringing in people that were going to help us excel and grow at a faster rate. Um, it was very painful. It was a big struggle. We are not, as women, as Latinas, we're not welcome in the technology space. And I hate to say that from a negative perspective, but we are not the norm. We're not who's your IT support. We're not who's talking to you about two-way radio communication, your security cameras, your access control, your gate access. We aren't the typical respondent in those phone calls,
The
in those
profile
follow.
is not
It's
us.
not us. Right. But to be able to break those barriers and break into that space, it's really one of those shakeups that I think is just long overdue. The average tenure and demographic in my industry is about an 80-year-old white male. That's honestly 65 to 85 years old is pretty much what we're encountering in our industry. And those are the barriers I think that become really instrumental when I also would like a seat at the table. There's been plenty of tables I have to bring my own chair, but I'm going to sit at that table and I'm going to represent my ethnicity, me as a woman, me as a company owner, me as a mom. I want to sit in those rooms. I want to be a change and a challenge maker, but we have to be welcomed a little bit more and expressed wholeheartedly so that people understand that we're not there to take something, we're here to help.
Yeah,
So,
which makes me wonder, Sonia, because this is so interesting. In a world where you feel that you're not welcomed,
mhm,
how does this impact your the way that you have to deliver yourself in these
right.
environments? Because many women may feel threatened to do what you're doing because if they feel that I'm not welcome, psychologically speaking, that will trigger
Mhm.
your nervous system and that may hold you back in wanting to just to pursue and do things in the world to position yourself in these positions. So, can you tell us a little bit more like how has this been for you?
There's a couple of times where we were going into a conference, we were the only females, the only women, and the only minorities. And the girls and I have been outside those big double doors and you go first, you go first. And I'm looking at the girls and it's that strength. I really do rely on the mom strength because it has to overflow into the manager strength. And I'm like, girls, this is us. We're going to go in there. We're going to hold our heads up. We're going to sit in the front row. We're going to open up our laptops. We're going to learn just like they do. And it's such a conditioned development. It creates a boldness and it taps into some of those stigmas that we haven't really had to deal with in a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to women that want to be in that position and break those barriers if they look up to you? Because I know that you and I have been in networking events together, and I have seen women holding back and
Mhm,
pushing themselves to kind of like to the side and just like becoming the bystander because it can
mhm,
be overwhelming in a world where male dominated. So,
mhm,
what would be things that people can do, like more so women?
mhm.
To prepare their mindset to pursue anything they want, like you
First
did.
thing yeah, first thing I would say is God didn't create the element of fear, so that is not something that is an emotion that God gave us. It's all man-made. The person that you're afraid of, most importantly, is probably the one in the mirror. You need to get up every day, look in the mirror and say, "I got this." But you need to kick in that door, go walk through that door, get in the room, get on the call, be a voice. If you have to look at your business as your baby. If you are going to let somebody manipulate your baby, push your baby around, put your baby on the floor, put your baby outside, do not feed your baby, that is the part of the brain that women have to open up. They have
Happened
to
to,
trigger that. You have to tap
yes.
into that and be like, no, you're not going to do that. No, I'm not. I'm going to sit in this room. Yes, I'm going to get on that call because for women, we're such a nurture by nature.
Yeah,
And with men, it's control. It's the natural elements of we've got this. But with women, we have to take that extra step because not only do we need that confidence, we need something to support that confidence
yeah.
to get in that room. But it really does. We all, as women, have that boldness. We have that mama bear instinct. And I think that a lot of that has to be pulled
Yeah.
because when you are in those spaces, one of the biggest things I rely on is my company is my baby. And
Yeah.
we're not here to do that. You're not going to not feed my kid and push me around. And I think it's just a mentality mindset shift
Yeah.
because women have been so submissive and we are conditioned to be quiet and we're seen and not heard and all of those stigmas are gone because they're in somebody else's head. They don't have to be in yours.
I love it so much. I love it because for women, it can be easy to relate to the mom analogy. And even for those who may not have children, I'm pretty certain that they have someone who they care for, and
It could be the pet.
they will be
It could be the
exactly.
puppy. It could be anything.
Yes.
Something that you have a passion and you love is where you have to be as an entrepreneur. You
Yeah.
have to have that same passion for your company that you do for the other things in your life that you create value and you see value in.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is so powerful. I'm gonna take this. And I use it with my own clients because it's so easy to relate to. As soon as
Mhm,
you said that, like, look at your baby, because I know that I talk about motivation and that why and like doing it and like
mhm,
really loving yourself. And people learn through stories and analogies. And
mhm.
this is something very easy to connect to because I
All the
know that
time.
I would do anything for my daughters.
Yeah.
And I know you would too.
But why wouldn't you do anything for your company?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's where the motivation comes from, and the other part of motivation is it's the elements that you're in, it's the people that you're around, it's your environment, it's who talks to you, who you talk to. It's so many different dynamics that create the motivation mindset. But all of those things aside, I think a lot of it is internal. It's
Yeah.
internally being able to break out of that shell and come into who you're meant to be as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And I think that's the missing piece for many people because for many, they can hear words and they can understand this and they can adapt it and integrate it in their day-to-day lives. But for other people, they have to regulate their nervous systems first.
Hmm.
They may have to regulate their nervous systems because one thing is them being able to just to comprehend this information, but
Hmm.
what their body experience whenever they're putting themselves in those situations
Hmm.
is also something that you want to attend to, right? Because
Right. One thing
so
that
how do you work with that? That's where I wanted just to go to.
and it's funny that we're talking about that because I struggled with that last year, the last couple of years. The regulation of my nervous system. One thing that you taught me last year was the breathing components. And I'm in the box. I'm in the box, like breathing in the box. I'm doing all the things because it has taught me that I'm in control of me. But I don't realize sometimes when you're in a room bigger than you that you're still in control of you.
Yeah.
And the breathing is one of the biggest components. I'm really cognizant of what I consume, what I read, even to the point of how much water I drink every day and all those core elements that create that sustenance that your brain needs, but also that your health needs in general, because that nervous system is centric to what you're trying to accomplish. But you got to put good gas in a car or it's not going to go. And some people just don't really kind of drill it down to how granular it really is and how simplified it can be.
Oh, absolutely. And you just hit on a different important aspect, and is what you put your attention
Mhm,
on. Because if my attention is constantly of on all the things that are not working, that are all the people that are here, that I don't feel that I belong, then guess what? You're going to expand that. And
mhm,
then you're gonna dismiss all of the other possibilities that, you know what, but I'm here, but I am here, and it's possible, and I am doing this, and I am worthy. If you shift your mindset and your focus, you're more so than
mhm,
your mindset, because this is part of creating that mindset, is your attention. Where do you put your
mhm,
attention and your energy on? Because it's
mhm.
going to determine this is where people have the blocks.
Yeah. And the other thing you have to do is you have to find that and you have to know with every fiber of your being that you have value.
Uh,
So your value has to be so high and you have to believe in yourself so much that it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they post.
Yeah.
Last year, I mean, I went back on Facebook probably back to 2008, and a lot of the posts that were positive, I was thinking like, I'm putting those positive posts then because they were reminders for me. And then I found out that other people were reading those. They were going to my page because what would Sonya say? What would Sonya do? What has she said or what has she done? And it wasn't because I needed somebody to look up to me. It was because that ripple effect and that impact is really true. And it's true to those words, but I'm not just those words in those posts. I'm the action. And that's where when you get the actions and the words to align, that's your value.
Yeah, it's the embodiment that it's missing for a lot of people because you can say so many different things. And that's, I love affirmations, but at the same time, I'm not, depending on how the person is doing it, I'm not all for it because
Mhm,
it doesn't matter what you say. If you are not aligning your body, your emotions, your nervous system, if there's no alignment between that, your words are
mhm.
empty.
Absolutely. Or you can't be one thing and pretend to be one thing, and then your actions and your character are portraying something else.
Why do
Because
you
all
think
you're
people
doing,
do that?
I think a lot of that is just a masquerade of pretending because then it's such a facade that they live vicariously through Facebook. And I always say, face your life, don't Facebook it because it's that important. If I am the what you see is what you get.
Yep.
If I'm going to
Oh,
put it,
I can attest to that. Yes.
because at the end of the day, I'm going to stand on what I believe. I'm going to stand on how I feel. I'm going to stand on what I say. And those are the things that I think that confidence comes from. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if we work together, but what I care about is that you respect me. What I care about is that I respect you. And those are some of those foundations, the bricks in the foundation that I think people miss, more consumed with who likes me or who's reposting or who's commenting versus, some real standards of do they respect me enough to bring a question or a comment or a concern to me
Yeah.
versus maybe to somebody else or out into, the social media world or something like that.
Absolutely. And it can be so simple. If you
Mhm,
say something that I don't like, it's like, how can I see the humanity in you and say, I don't agree with this? She has every single right to say whatever she wants to
mhm.
say. So I'm just going to keep scrolling, and that's okay. It doesn't impact. It's like
Mhm.
removing, taking it personal.
Yeah.
It, it's, it's how can we reflect into all of those things
And it's
because
how you
they belong
respond.
to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's how you respond.
It's part of us. It's part
I
of
see
us if
stuff
you're reacting that way.
I see stuff all the time on social media and I'm like that. She's an idiot. He's an idiot. I'm not doing and you keep on scrolling. Like if you value your time, you don't have time to be in Facebook fights. You don't have time to be in social media fights. You don't have time to be caught up with who's doing what because all those are at the end of the day are distractions and distractions are what feed the nervous system, which is why people stay idle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. We have to like let a couple of seconds in silence to let that sink because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And people talk so much about mindset, and I'm all for it, but it's just the combination of everything. It's a lifestyle. It's how in tune you are with your body. It's in tune of how
Mhm.
you are with what you're having in your mind and what are you
Mhm.
surrounding yourself with. And even the
Right.
people that you have, all
Yep.
of that will contribute to your success, to your
Mhm.
mindset, to the
Mhm.
life that many people want, but yet they feel that they don't have as it doesn't matter how much they work for it.
Yep.
Because it is the embodiment on all of the combination of all of that.
It is. And the top 5 people that you, interact with every day, you're gonna be the 6th. You're gonna be the 6th. So you're either gonna be the 6th multimillionaire, you're gonna be the 6th homeless person, you're gonna be the 6th drunk, you're gonna be the 6th whatever, but those are your choices. And I think that's also really hard because people have such a desire to fit in
Mm,
that makes it tough when you have to make hard choices and say, "Hey, I can love you from over here,
yeah,
but we can't hang out every weekend. We can't do this every day because I have other goals, I have aspirations,
yeah,
and, you know, being drunk at home isn't gonna get it, or shopping all day, spending money I don't have isn't gonna get it." Those are the hardest things. I think people have such an inability to make easy choices,
yeah.
but they make it difficult.
And the way that I see it, Sonia, and I know that we talked about this before, it's because we're social creatures. There's no denying
Mhm,
that we thrive in social settings. We're wired to be socials. However,
mhm.
you get to choose who do you surround yourself with. You get to
Right.
choose who you allow in your circle. You
Mhm.
get to choose who says something that matters to you. that you
Mhm.
stop and reflect and you're like, okay, wait, if it's coming from this person, because I know that it's coming from that's a different thing, but it's the
Mhm.
not knowing how to differentiate that
Mhm.
from our day-to-day lives. Because
Yep.
I love my family and you've met my family, you know that how close we are. And
Mhm.
yet I am aware that they see life from a different lens and I
Mhm.
respect them for that. But I know also what do I want for me? I have that clarity.
Mhm.
And it wasn't always that way. It took me a
Right.
while. It took me a while because I was highly influenced by not only
Mm.
my family, but by people around me. Like, what do they
Mhm.
think? What do they say? But that's just living in slavery. It's a mental
Mhm.
slavery. Because guess
Mhm.
what? Anything that you rely your energy, your attention on that it's outside of you, it's a rejection of yourself.
It is. And you have to make sure you're surrounded by people that talk to you and don't talk at you.
Yeah.
Because when they're talking at you,
Say
they're
that one
they're
more time, girl.
because honestly, it's so important. I want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to have a conversation where you tell me what's best for me
Yeah,
and you tell me what I need to drive or how I need to dress or how I need to look or if I get on a podcast with no makeup. I'm me and I'm proud of that.
yeah,
And I am not out here exemplifying for anybody else because at the end of the day, those opinions do not deposit in the bank.
yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Oh, and it's so interesting that you say the makeup thing. I remember once I was on the verge of not never ever ever wanting to wear makeup because I was not gonna dictate the world. But in another way, I was also being slayed by those beliefs. And it's so funny because by me taking a stand, and once again, if there are people there that they want to wear makeup or not, this is not the
Mhm.
point. It's
Mhm.
how do you recognize when you're also going to the extreme, but you're still being slayed by those beliefs? Because
Right.
right now, the freedom is that if I want to wear makeup or I don't want to
Mhm.
wear makeup, it's just I do whatever I feel like it, and that's okay. It doesn't define me, and it makes me feel
Right.
beautiful. But whenever I'm not, I'm still beautiful the same way. And I know
Right.
that we're talking about this, but it's just is this is so present in so many different parts and areas in our lives to include our business and our
Mhm.
process. What if I say this in a meeting? What if I call this
Mhm.
person? Or what if I don't call this person? It's like, it's so draining. It's so
Mhm.
draining how people get so trapped in functioning that way
Mhm.
and thinking it as if it was the norm to live that way.
I used to think that way. I used to think that I was tiptoeing around and maybe I didn't act this way in a meeting or should I have done this? And I have really learned to create the balance. And the balance is everybody gets treated equal. Everybody gets a thank you email. Everybody gets a hello from me. I'm going to introduce myself to everybody in the room. I don't change those basics so then I don't have to feel like there is a segregation. I didn't talk to her, I talked to him. I
Yeah,
don't have any of that because I'm going to talk to everybody. Everybody's going to get my card. Everybody's going to get my phone number. And when you do that and you choose you first, everything else is simple.
absolutely. What would
Mhm.
you say to women who are considering or starting and struggling with dealing with their process with the entrepreneurship process and wanting to like maybe trapped in everything that we
Mhm.
just talked and they want to
Mhm.
like step out of that, what would you say to them?
I would say be very select, but get a mentor. There's mentors, there's coaches, there's so many different people out there doing different things, kind of all in the same silo for the betterment of entrepreneurship. But I have two mentors that I've had from the beginning, and you need somebody that you can have hard conversations with. They're going to make you cry. They're going to make you laugh. They're going to yell. They're going to, we're going to talk, all the things because every ounce of the different emotions that you can freely give to your mentor, they're going to give it in a counterbalance to you in control. This is why you're crying about this. This is why you're laughing about that. This is why you talk firm about that. This is why you don't speak up about that because those things become important because they grow you. And so the biggest thing about what women need is to find somebody who's going to help them. You're not getting a false confidence from that mentor. That mentor is teaching you to rely on your own confidence. You just didn't know how to tap into it. So I would highly suggest two mentors for every entrepreneur. I think that's completely critical. It's two different thinkers, two different ways to segment and look at things. And it helps you kind of give you that clarity. Sometimes Paul tells me this, sometimes Steve tells me that. but I can find the perfection in the conversations
Yeah.
because it's really tailored about how I move forward. Because I need to have that person that I can call on. I can't tell you, Rosalind, well, our business checking accounts in the negative because now all I'm doing, and of course, if it was, I would tell you. But the thing is we have that stigma as women that we can't share the vulnerable points and issues with the people in our circle. Number one, that's the wrong circle. Number two, that's not the actual forum for guidance because if my best friend who is in my circle works for a company and she's a 9 to 5 at the bank,
Yeah.
she's not going to understand my struggle as an entrepreneur when I'm ranting about A, B, and C, employees, payroll, whatever. But if I go to a mentor who's been there, who's done that, who says, hey, I have experienced this, this is how I overcame, and gives me a playlist and a playbook on how to maneuver through that, that's the solid and the safe place to have those conversations. That's why mentorship is critical if you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, absolutely, because this is how I say in my own terms. It's very difficult to remove the spider you have on your back if you don't know that it's there.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we everything that we know where we're at is what we know.
Mhm,
And we cannot get to the next level of ourselves with what the information that we have already about ourselves.
mhm,
So you have to seek out for people that have been through that journey
mhm.
that they can understand and see things that you may not. And then it's going to fall up onto you. What do you want to do with that information? But you have to
Yeah,
increase that awareness first.
absolutely, because those choices become critical. When you're at the fork in the road, generally people, and I always kind of reference that you don't really have as many forks in the road as you think you have. The more clear you are and the more clarity you have within yourself, the less you're going to have the forks in the road. It's going to create a decisiveness in you. So you're not going to have those. You're going to know when the fork comes, I'm going right, I'm going to go left. But when people tell me, I don't know what to do with my life, I don't know what I want to really do, I'm confused, I'm this, all that tells me is you got to go back because you aren't sure of you. You got to do some you work. That way you don't have those forks in the road. And I wouldn't have learned some of those things if I wouldn't have been under the wings and advice of some of the mentors that I've had over the years.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. 100% in agreement. And as a woman, I know, and even more as Latina woman, like asking for help and
Mm,
wanting to just to it's thank you. Yes. Should I
yes.
say more? Should I add to that? Because and I have been there. But you know
Mhm,
what? That is a guarantee that the suffering, the struggle, it's going to be prolonged.
mhm,
And it's going to take forever to get where you want to get.
mhm,
So it's so beautiful and it's so freeing for you to see someone that has been through already what you have that you're going through because you can fully rely on that. And you know what? Even what's more important, Sonia, of getting a mentor is that you're saying yes to yourself. You're
yes.
saying, you know what? I am worthy of getting help. Because every time
Mhm,
that people like, no, I can do this, or they just
mhm,
don't simply consider it, then you're saying a big no to your face
mhm.
that you don't get to have people that are there for you, that care for you, and want the best for you. So it's a self-rejection. It
It's
reflects
true.
back to self-worth.
And another thing is, get it when I talk about get in the room, that is huge. Get in the room. If it costs 35, if it costs, $100, get in the room because you are we got to change the mindset. We look at it as, oh, it's a bill. Do I want to pay the $50 to be in
Yeah.
there? You have to look at it as, would I invest $50 in myself? Am I worth $50? Because now you've changed the mindset and said, yeah, because the knowledge that you're going to capture if you're in the right room, it's going to 10x that $50. One relationship built in that room could create a contract that changes the whole trajectory of your company. So invest in you. Every class you can get in, every room you can get in, every opportunity to learn, take it. Because at the end of the day, that's where the 10x comes from. It's going to grow you, it's going to grow your business, and it's going to grow your circle.
Oh yeah.
And that, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
And it's we put so much pressure on like do I
Mhm,
have to pay for this or not, but in reality like you said it's just an exchange. Is money is to facilitate that exchange.
mhm,
And but the meaning underneath when you do that, when you take that step and pay for something, it's so rewarding for your self-worth because you say, you know what, I don't care how much this costs,
mhm.
I deserve this.
Yes.
That's what you were telling subconsciously to your brain, that you're worth that, that you're
Hmm.
worth that. But if you're only seeking for things that are free, because I love free, of course. If
Everybody
there's
does.
something free, absolutely. But if there's something that I want to get and it's at a cost, why not?
Hmm.
Why not? Because before I allowed money to get in the way of what I was worthy of getting or not. Even when I had the money, that's the most crazy thing. Even when you had the money, just to say, "Oh, I'm not sure I want to spend on the," why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And that's why I'm so passionate about money and wealth, because it's beyond this. It's this that
Hmm.
people don't get when it comes to money. And
Hmm.
even more for women. Because men,
Yes.
if they want to do something, you know what? They just like go for it. They operate at a different level, so I don't want to focus
Hmm.
about men right now. But for women, it's always constantly like, do I spend on this or not? And how much is gonna cost? And
Hmm.
if you have the money, just go for it. Go
Hmm.
for it. Because it's like you said, you're going to 10x that. The
Hmm.
investment, that action of self-worth and self-care, when you invest in something, is just going to come back 10 times fold.
Hmm. 100%. And I try to be in as many rooms as possible. And don't get me wrong, I love makeup. I love to have my hair done. But there are days where I get to work at home and I can do a podcast with you and I can get payroll done and I can do things because not everything requires that version of me that's outside of the door. But in my house, it's my safe space. It's my ability to be free. I'm free to move about my house without makeup and hair and, a suit on, but it doesn't affect my capacity to work. And when you learn those things and you think about that, you really start to embrace your worth because you're not affecting that the output and the outcome. Either way, the end result's already going to be there. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that being in those rooms is so critical if you want to be somebody who can help you grow or somebody who can elevate your business. That's where they're found. They're going to be in those rooms. They're not hanging out hoping that somebody's going to find them. They're findable. They're just in those rooms that you have to get within yourself to pay to get in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Oh, this has been so amazing. And I hear
Mhm.
is that your grandbaby?
That is my
That the-
grandbaby.
Oh, he started waking up. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know that you love spending time with your grandbaby, so I'm gonna start wrapping this up. Any last words? Anything that you feel that you will love for the listeners to take with them?
I think that I encourage everybody to grow your friendships. Step out of your comfort zone, find new friends. The old friends are amazing, keep them, but really do an inventory of your circle. Look at your circle. Is your circle benefiting you? Are you in the right circle? Are you able to have free communication? And if you can't speak freely, if you can't get that confident support that you need, maybe it's time to close that door and get some new circles. And that's also found in those rooms. And I try to really look at my calendar in a way that I leave space open. So if an event or a networking opportunity does come up, I have the capacity for it because I want to not just be somebody who says get in the room. I want to be found in that room. Um, and I think that in 2025, I'm going to do a lot more of that because there are so many women that I have seen. I want to be the me that I needed when I was launching my company, and I can be that for her. And she can find me in those rooms.
Yes, yes. I actually found you in one of those rooms.
You did. You did.
Yes, so we are a testimony of that.
We are. We are.
Yes, yes. And it has been a great relationship, you
And it's
know.
so good give and take. I love to refer you out. I love to, know that you have the program, you can create the program, you can build the program, and actually I have another opportunity for you. But it's so great to have that confidence because I know you on a personal level, I know you on a professional level, and that synergy, it's perfect because I know that I am giving a Rosalind that the Rosalind I get is the same one that you're going to give to somebody else. I know that it's not superficial, it's not fake. And I'm not going to have those coming back and, well, I talked to Rosalind, it really wasn't what you thought. I never have to worry about those conversations because I know that there's a cleanness in the transition of moving that relationship to my network, to people that I know. And I want other women to be able to have that confidence. And I think it comes from having that personal and professional relationship on both levels.
Oh, absolutely. That happens when you get in those rooms.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, yes. Anything going on for your business? Any promotions, activity?
We, we are so busy. We just came off of an amazing Christmas event, an amazing Thanksgiving event. We actually helped facilitate 216 plates for inner city, people in the Springfield area at Thanksgiving. So we fed 216 people out there for that. We gave Christmas to over 93 children, which was amazing. Um, it's a lot of things that Pinnacle behind the scenes. We're not on the burner for the take our picture. We don't want the we don't need the social media moment. We know where our heart is. We know where we can serve. We know what we can do. And so we're already putting our calendar together. I encourage anyone who has an opportunity, is looking for a networking partner, somebody as a sponsor. That's really big for me. This year I have created and cut out a budget for that. And I'm going to welcome and ask everybody, bring me your ideas. Let me know because I definitely want to connect and get involved with that side of it. There is a health fair for women coming up next Thursday. I don't know if this will get out there before then. We have a lot of spring opportunities coming. We have a Mother's Day that's coming up, and that'll be for women. We're going to kind of treat moms who are entrepreneurs. They're going to get a Saturday, an entrepreneur mom day for Mother's Day weekend. So lots of good stuff on the burner. I would encourage you to follow me on social media. Get connected with me. I am not invisible. I am the person who's answering the calls. I'm the person who's answering the
Yep.
media. So if I can help you, my phone number, my cell number is always out there for the world. I am accessible. And I think that I just want to leave you with that. And for all the women out there, find me. I'm accessible. How can I help? Let's do it together.
And to make that easier for you guys, I will include all of her information on the
Thank you.
description for this podcast. That way, she is not lying. She is accessible and she is awesome at that, at reaching out and being there. So I will include all of Sonia's information in the description for you just to have her click away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
Yes,
having me
yes,
today.
absolutely. And before we leave, I also want to share that I have an upcoming event on the 20th of February. You don't want to miss that because we're going to be talking about the mindset blocks that we
Mm,
encounter in our business. And it's going to be powerful. There's going to be a money meditation that it's going to reveal so much about your relationship with money and and how does that show up in your business. So you don't want to miss this. I'm going to be putting also that information for you. And
I
I'm
will be there.
excited. Yes,
I
yes,
will be there.
absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Sonia. You know, I love you so much.
I love you too. I'm always here for you, whatever you need.
Yes, yes. And thank you for everyone tuning in. And please stay tuned for the following episodes. Feel free
Mhm,
to subscribe, leave me comments. I love hearing about your thoughts
mhm.
about these topics and just to do magic and provide you with so much value with this podcast. So until
Awesome.
the next time.
Thank you.